In other news, JP, he's back with us. JP's back with Bussin' With The Boys. Made some good waves on, what was that, Thursday?
Yeah, Thursday.
Would you like to drop an official statement, JP? Would you like me to talk about it? I saw you battling back and forth with some guys.
I'd like you to go first.
Okay. So JP has a pure heart. And I think muddies his water at times when he sees some opportunities for content. This is a prime example. And I'm pumped that you went with it because there's a part of me, I was like, once we started to get to, I'm up in the air and I'm like, have you tweeted it, posted? I'm thinking like, now is where he might think like, I don't know if we should go. I don't know if he wants to go this route.
At that point, I had to go that route.
Yeah, I know.
Or else I'm just
I put it in the group chat. Hey, here's what we're going to do. But I texted JP and I was like, here, I'll read the text to you guys.
It's at like 7:15 a.m.
Yeah, I'm flying to Chicago and I'm just caffeined up.
Lucy.
Espresso Lucy in my brain, just ready to go. Here we go. Thursday. Yeah, we had a lot of texts. Just fast forward on this part, Mitch.
Well, as Will's looking for it, when he's like sending this whole thing. And I'm like already kind of feeling uneasy about it. And then I didn't respond for like 2 to 3 minutes. And he just hits back. It would be hilarious. And I'm like, oh God. That's when I knew. I'm like, I don't know if there's any turning back.
I said, are you in the shop today? I can't remember when you leave because JP had a wedding. He's like, yeah, I'm there. I said, idea for you. Do a post today, quitting Bussin' With The Boys and go into happy hour at Dave & Buster's. And JP goes, any ideas on how to make it funny or like non-ad like? Obviously, I'll try to brainstorm, but didn't know if you already have something in your head. And JP sent in, I already had a full caption. As very few of you know, today is my official last day with Bussin' With The Boys. Legit a bittersweet feeling because I'm sad to be done working with the guys who have become like family to me. But I'm also very excited for this next opportunity. I can't say what it is, but I'll have a video later this morning. And I was like, something like that. And then you just go to Dave & Buster's to make your video there. Excited to announce that I'll be at Dave & Buster's for their free happy hour, whatever the deal is, blah, blah, blah. Could be hilarious. JP, I gotcha. Oh, man. Let me see here. 2 options. Because I go, you're like, due to recent events, today is my official last day of Bussin'. I was like, you got 2 options. Make it seem like we had to part ways because ultimately you were the point man for the emails where people try to battle over the decision, or a new opportunity that you can't pass up where people go sentimental route. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, because after everything unfolded, what was that, Monday or Tuesday? Was that Monday?
Yeah, Monday.
When we missed the Bracket Busters and Dave went off on us on the Bracket Busters. Then we did the show and Dave called in and kind of gave it to us verbally. And then throughout that week, we're trying to like, how can we make this right with Dave & Buster's? Because that does suck that we didn't show up. But how can we accept what happened and fucking, how can we be creative in doing something to make it right? And the next day when we come into the shop, I remember thinking about I should at least go take a picture. I come in, JP's like, hey, you should go to Dave & Buster's. Jack comes in, he's like, hey, we should go make videos and content at Dave & Buster's. Everybody's kind of like on board that we need to go to Dave & Buster's if we're going to make this stuff right. All the boys are telling us. So we go out that day and we do all of our Dave & Buster's content. We end up getting messages from the high ups at Barstool like, hey, Dave & Buster's they're pumped about it. They think it's funny. Like this, thank God you guys did this. Like way to basically GBOT, get back on track. And so I'm just continuing to figure out like how we can play this up, because you hear people talking about, you read some of the comments on YouTube from the video, like, taking bullets. Like I'm the only one taking bullets. Like nobody else is saying nothing. Like, oh, it seems like Will's just smiling. You can see what kind of guy he is. Like he's not taking it serious. All the guys in the back are laughing, thinking that this is a big fucking joke. Like, no, we were mentally in a blender, but there's sometimes you just gotta like, you got to be able to take it on the chin, not have a smile on your face, but ultimately like that nothing drastic of like, hey, we got to split up, because at the end of the day, you would have thought we were a March Madness podcast. Like we're some college basketball podcast. We had never shown up on the Barstool Bracket Busters. We'd always been told that, hey, this is going to be your team riding them into the end. Now, this is obviously, it was a much bigger sponsored event, a lot more dollars behind it. we've been seeing some of the unfoldings about whether it's Mincy with the combine or guys not showing up. Remember Titus got something for a big sponsored event. Like, so there are things that feed up that have fed into Dave's mind of like these motherfuckers just people fucking up when we have highly sponsored stuff. We've had our hiccups recently with whether it's the DraftKings stuff or not reading an email for the day of the Super Bowl that played up in us getting reamed. So you see all this stuff and you're just thinking like, thank God the boys figured out how to like make this stuff right. Cause at the end of the day, it's a content game. It's a content business. Like it's all media. It's all entertainment. Like how can we take this reaming and spin it into making more content off of it without being like dickheads, without like, you know, being going the routes, being silent about it. Like, okay, we kind of just took that. We're not going to say anything else about it. We're just going to be quiet. It's like, how do you make content? How do you have creativity and like make content with all the boys? Which we did, and everybody was very pleased to where I think Dave and Buster's might be coming back around and working more with the company, with Barstool, with Bussin, because of all that stuff. So we fast forward into going to Chicago, and I just have this idea for JP because you see people like, why don't you have a fall guy? Like, why not a fall guy, but why don't you have somebody checking emails? Why don't this? Why don't that? Everybody kind of having an opinion on it. So it's like, how can we lean into it more by having JP or having somebody to make content? I knew Jack was going to Chicago. JP, he's seen as like a producer for all the stuff that we do. So I was like, how can we make it seem like JP's kind of a fall guy, but make it seem like there's quiet, private conversations that happen. We're all good, but there's some undertone of JP kind of just moving on, but saying everything's all good, busting for life, but also I'm excited for this. Basically, JP's kind of standing on business, or I'm not going to be talked to like this in a private conversation. We're saving face by making it seem like it's all good between us, but there's a question mark of what the fuck's going on. You played it perfectly. You crushed it. I know you took a lot of people being like, okay, they were legit sad. I'm getting a lot of texts. You show me JP still getting a fuckload of messages. He has over 160, not to flex, but to also flex that his text message chain has been run up over this whole fiasco. Dave comes in and sits down. He's like, hey, what the fuck happened? Did your guy quit? Did you fire? Like, what happened with this? What happened with this producer that's going on? And Big Cat's like, yeah, apparently it's a bit or something. And I was like, yeah, I mean, we're making more content off it. Nothing happened. Everything's all good. He's doing a callback to now we're at Dave and Buster's because the whole play of Dave and Buster's was, hey, go to happy hour on March 21st. Whether if you're working that day, skip work or work from Dave and Buster's. PFT had a tweet that sparked my inspiration from me. He's like, what a great day to quit your job and go to Dave and Buster's. And so all of it kind of festered in, let's do another callback to DMB on March 21st with all the boys. I saw your video, like one eats, we all eat. All the boys are there at Dave and Buster's taking photos. I thought it was played beautifully.
I know. I feel like because I have a smaller following that I do, like, you know, I try to reply to people like throughout the weeks, whatever, like build these little relationships with people. So then when that happens, I truly feel like I'm connected with a decent amount of my followers and they're sending me the nicest messages in the DMs. And I'm like, oh my God, like.
Then you got people who are in the gray who know you, who probably don't communicate with you all the time. That's kind of given like
right.
Damn, I thought you were really gone. Like I kind of can't trust you, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And I made me feel so bad. I mean, it worked. And shout out to all the new followers out there.
I was going to say you got.
But man, yeah, I did. I just want the people to know that I felt bad misleading the people.
I did send JP a text. I said, your good heart is blinding you from the bigger picture, yeah. Which I thought it was good. I thought it was good content. I thought it was great content to kind of continue to play into.
Caleb texted me, Presley, and said, brother, exclamation point. I was like, what's up? He's like, you're leaving the bus. And I explained it to him. He said, classic Will with the death jokes. I was like, oh, I could just talk about the Theo Von.
Yeah, the Theo Von stuff, which, by the way, I feel like hasn't gotten fully until we get Theo on the bus, or there's finally a conversation to be had about how much of just a setup joke that was. That in his following things, it's like, oh, Will's just a bad person who fakes a death, yada yada yada. But yeah, I thought it was great. I went in when I got to the sports book. There were so many people like Fasoli. He's like, dog, you fucking had me. He's like, I was so hurt. I was like,
text me ASAP.
Yeah. He's like, I was so hurt to see that. Like other people like, hey, is that real? Big Cat was even like, hey, so what happened to your guy? But we were on camera, so I thought he was kind of just
Right.
he kind of understood the bit.
Fight sent me a message. He was like, bro, it was honestly so nice. He was like, man, like loved getting to chop it up with you. Like, let's make sure just because you're gone, like that it's not the last time we hang out. Like all the best. I'm like, God, Fights is such a real one.
Oh, I'm sorry to make you like the fucking goat that comes up for the T-Rex in Jurassic Park, just sitting there. Because another thing that sucks is if something ever does happen, it's like you almost kind of blew your wad on
I told Garrett, I said, now I gotta wait at least 6 months to quit.
Yeah. Hey, there goes my plan. I gotta hold this one out a little bit more. I thought the content was good from it. That we had a good little get right, good little make right.
We were owning
Playing
the
into
internet
all
for a
the
little bit.
do what?
We were owning the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, we made it into something. I was telling MB and Jack Mack, I know he's in with like the DraftKings stuff or Dave and Buster's. I'm like, hey, rumor has it like you guys can now add in an extra responsibility, making sure the Bussin guys know their information because I know we make you guys work overtime a little bit more now. And they kind of like laugh because they're like, if there's an example of handling it, you guys would be the example for other brands handling it that way. Which, hey, shout out the boys not to flex and put everybody else in a tough spot, but that's how we do it with Bussin With The Boys. But I appreciate you doing that. I know it kind of hurt your soul a little bit. I was following along the weekend when I would get in the reply. When I'd see your replies, I was like, man, he's really trying to reply and make sure, hey, I will earn your trust back, everybody.